The referee at whom you are looking right now is Don Evans. Dirty Don Evans, if you will. But Don Evans for sure. And he is in there to handle a match that should be a tough one, because we've got two guys in there who in the 1950s and 1960s were extremely capable of taking care of themselves. The man refusing to shake hands is Iron Mike DiBiase, who met his death in the ring in Amarillo some years after this match took place, and whose son is wrestling today. The man he just threw through the ropes and who is bouncing right back again is Rocky Colombo. And Rocky Colombo was one of the better of the up-and-coming wrestlers in the early 1960s. Rocky, too, has passed on to the great athletic commission in the sky that handles his bookings right now. But Rocky, in his day, was the kind of a fellow who flew through the air with the greatest of disregard for his own safety and his own body, and who was as fast as Iron Mike. Iron Mike went from champion of the Navy to the National Amateur Championships and then into the professional ranks, and was always a tough, rugged, solid individual. Iron Mike DiBiase, when they named him Iron Mike, they knew what they were doing. But don't overlook the third man in the ring, Dirty Don Evans, who was a big factor in Texas wrestling, former Texas heavyweight champion. He lives in upstate New York right now and has a huge farm in that area, and I don't know if they still call him Dirty Don, but Don would be pleased if they did. But he was a solid customer too. But here are three men who were part and parcel of Texas wrestling at the time when the great series of films, the Texas Wrestling, were made and are still being played in some parts of the world. Now, Don Evans' presence in that ring proves that for this particular match, they needed a strong hand who was capable of moving with the wrestlers on an even basis. Colombo came to the wrestling wars in Texas about the same time that Larry Shane came here, and Larry Shane was much the same in his fast and rapid movements as Rocky Colombo is proving to be here. Rocky came from New York, and in his conversation and in his actions, he was the typical New York street tough guy. And this is the way he grew up, and this is the way he acted in the ring. There was never any subterfuge about Rocky Colombo. He would tell you what he thought, and he would do what he thought was right in that ring. And here against Iron Mike, he is trying to prove that particular point. Don Evans watching the hole closely. You can bet that Iron Mike is down there screaming something about it being a stranglehold, and Evans is looking close to make sure that it isn't. Although Evans, when he was in the ring, he earned that name, Dirty Don. So on top is Iron Mike, and I thought I noticed a lot of well, look at the difference in the count, and you'll see that Iron Mike is getting a little faster count. Somebody's objecting on the outside of the ring, and we do not have the camera on him. Now, if this was made today, and I told our director, Ed Worthington, to shift the camera outside the ring, he would do it in an instant. As a matter of fact, he wouldn't have to be told. But in the days of Texas wrestling films, things were just a little bit different. They didn't have as many cameras around, but they did have fine wrestlers, and we are trying to keep their memory alive by showing you some of the action that took place. And right now, Don Evans is part of that action, and with Rocky Colombo on top, something is happening that should happen. The referee should be counting Iron Mike down, and we're going to have to leave you here with the nostalgia of never having known exactly what took place, because we have just a limited time for you to dream about the good old days of wrestling.
And the fans are hollering, we want Hart, we want Hart. And Hart is trying to quiet them. I think that both Maniac and Spoiler are aware that Hart has not been in that ring yet. There is no law that says he has to go in there. He has, right now, gone through 2 falls and has not yet made his appearance in the ring. Kevin and David on the outside did not get to touch hands with their brother. Here comes Kevin. Legal touch. Spoiler backing up Maniac. And Kevin trying to rabbit punch the Maniac. And I'll tell you, this boy Kevin is a picture of a drop kicker. He gets up in the air in magnificent fashion and generally finds his mark and finds it well. So Hart is looking for an opponent like a vulture. He wants somebody who can't come back at him. He is evidently not in a mood to battle here tonight. But the Spoiler and Lewin can carry their end of the effort in exceptionally great fashion. David now pursuing Spoiler and trying to take some of that power out of him. Spoiler has his own tricks, and there was a missed hold by David Von Erich. He tried to whirl the Spoiler around, and he was unable to do it because the Spoiler suddenly was able to snatch that hand loose. He's going for the stomach claw. Hart has not accepted the bid to come into the ring. And here is the Maniac. The Maniac with the Shanghai Sleeper, and Hart urging him to go after David Von Erich. He's giving the orders. He hasn't come in to do anything about it, but he has given the orders. And as now here comes Hart. He figures David is out. And Hart takes over on David. Trouble for the Von Erich clan as the Vulture grabs hold of his prey and pounds David. That Shanghai Sleeper, the way he applies it, is a tough grip. And now the two Von Erichs now are pulling a strategy. They are fighting with Spoiler and Lewin off on the floor, and David has Hart up into the ring. David Von Erich has Gary Hart up in the ring, and Hart is looking for somebody to touch, and nobody to touch. There's nobody in the corner. And David has Hart up there where he can't grab anybody. And he's got the sleep hold on Gary Hart. Gary Hart caught in the sleep hold of David Von Erich, and here comes Maniac Mark Lewin being pushed out of the ring, but Kerry steps in there to take care of him, and we may have a fall. We may have a fall. We've got a fall. The winner. Bright youngster from Lake Dallas. Gino trying to shift into place. Kevin thrown off, and a nice shoulder butt. Good, well applied shoulder butt. Whoa, he brought him over with a heave. With a solid lift and throw. And again, Kevin takes him over and catches the same arm. That's what he was after, and he went about it the long way, but he came up with it, and that's the thing that counts. You go after a hold the same way all the time, and you're bound to lose out on it. Gino that time came over with a knee as he ran in, and he hooked Kevin Von Erich with it. Ooh, a solid kick, a solid kick. So Von Erich's in trouble. That brain-busting elbow of Gino Hernandez, and there goes Kevin on the solid floor here at the Sam Houston Coliseum. Five minutes have gone by. And Kevin starts in, gets a rude reception as he climbs on the apron of the ring. And now you see him walking along thinking about it and preparing this time to move in. This time he didn't come in there when Gino was ready for him. Gino wasn't ready that time. He's cutting Gino in half, and it's great. Great move in the process. Von Erich and guillotine drop. Oh, and he landed solidly on the knees of Gino Hernandez. Gino come up there with both knees and caught him as he came through the air. But I think what may have saved Von Erich is that he landed on his with his stomach on the knees and not with a vital part of him. And landing on the stomach, he had an opportunity to protect himself with muscle. We want to remind you that next Friday night we've got two tremendous final events here at the Sam Houston Coliseum. Gino Hernandez, win, lose, or draw on this one, will face Gran Marcus in what should be a bout we'll remember all through the 1980. And in the other one, superstar Billy Graham will meet the toughness of maniac Mark Lewin. Our ticket office at 1919 Caroline at the corner of Pierce will be open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. For tickets, for information, for reservations, just drop by and say hello. We welcome you. We always do. And we like to talk wrestling. So we've got some great things lined up, and next Friday night will be one that we'll remember. Our good friends at Love TV have a lot in common with us. They've got a word for you. Good night, everybody.